This video is going to be a look at some Jamaal Williams film from 2022, a little bit of a commentary about his signing with the Saints and how brilliant of a signing I think it is for the New Orleans Saints, given the Alvin Kamara situation, how unknown it is, how many games he'll be able to play, if at all, in 2023. And then, despite all that, as much as I think of Jamaal Williams, and you'll be able to tell, if you listen to the commentary and some of the breakdown that I do of some of the plays, how smart it is, I think, of the Lions, even though Jamaal Williams had a huge impact, I think, on the culture there, in the locker room, on the field, as a leader. I think on offense, I'm not sure who I can identify as a position player that was as dominant a personality as Jamaal Williams was for the Lions. Got to give credit to Brad Holmes, the front office there, for acquiring him. Ben Johnson for utilization of him and DeAndre Swift. I think they totaled 1,600 yards in the 2022 regular season in winning 9 games, and then being willing to get rid of him when he thought that there was a better option. Even though I think they paid a little bit more for David Montgomery than the Saints did for Jamaal Williams. The front pick here is a very sloppy Photoshop job, a reference to something that Jamaal Williams said on the Monday Night Football game, I believe, or maybe Sunday Night Football game against the Packers to finish the regular season at 9-8. All right, so let's get to some of the film, and I'm going to go through some commentary. Look, he's going to be the tailback in all of these situations, either in the shotgun like this or behind the quarterback under center. So I'm not going to spot shout him before every play. Look, 1,000-yard rusher in 2022 for the first time in his career. 17 touchdowns, which is a Lions record, breaking the record, I believe, by Barry Sanders. This is one of their main concepts that I'm going to show in this video that I really like a lot. Now, this is a sixth offensive lineman here, but he's going to go in motion, and then he's going to kick out the edge player. So that's this player right here, Matt Millen, walked up. And then the second piece of this is the H-back tight end wrapping up inside of that kickout block. So behind it, and the running back, who in this case is Jamaal Williams, is going to counter step a little bit and then to phase up with that H-back, that wrap block by this tight end / H-back. The thing that I really love about the Lions run game is they utilize similar concepts. There's the kick out block by the 6th offensive lineman. There's Jamaal Williams behind the H-back tight end, who's going to go up and get the safety, which is Damar Hamlin. Touchdown, great in goal line situations, just a demon in short yardage or goal line situations. Look, Jamaal Williams only had 2 100-yard games in 2022. So I understand there will be people who say he didn't have as much impact as you think he did. He had 108 yards and 2 TDs against the Seahawks in Week 4, one of the games of the year for real. And then he had 144 yards and a touchdown against the Bears in Week 17 when they ran over Chicago. In my opinion, he really turned the Lions into a difficult red zone or goal line team. Extremely difficult to defend those situations. This is another concept that I think is somewhat unique to the Lions. It's not like other teams don't run this. So on the snap, pre-snap, the fullback is motioning out to this side. Now this is what I would call reverse power. This pulling left guard is going to kick out the edge defender here. And then the fullback who went in motion is going to veer back to the play side and go insert and ISO block or lead up on the front side inside linebacker, which I believe is number 55. I call it reverse power because instead of the fullback kicking out and the guard wrapping, you're getting the guard kicking out and the fullback wrapping. The Tennessee Titans use this, and the Lions do too. Now, in a couple of other iterations you're going to see of this later on, the fullback goes opposite post-snap to get off the midline and clear, and then goes this way. It plays off of the lead zone play that I'm going to show you a couple of times here out of the eye, or at least once, where the fullback and the tailback, in this case Jamaal Williams, go in the same direction. It plays off of that motion because, as you can see on the snap, they both are stepping or moving in that direction. The fullback, in this case, motioned over pre-snap, and Jamaal Williams stepped to the side, kind of like more of a lateral step than that line I have drawn there. I think Jamaal Williams is getting ready to turn 28 years old in about 2 weeks, coming off a career year with the Lions. A team that just roared, same play end zone angle here, by the way. They roared back from a 1-6 start to finish 9-8, narrowly missing the playoffs. The team's full of talented young players. They've drafted great the last 2 years. They returned their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who just consistently puts defenses in conflict. I hope to do a couple of film studies on his offense and particularly his run game, before the draft here. So what happens, like I said, they go out and they make this shrewd move to sign David Montgomery from the Bears. And Williams, who's just a fan favorite and a vicious running back, as you'll see in a lot of these clips, like I said, signed with the Saints. Here's the second set of plays that I'm going to show you is one back stuff that's downhill generally. Huge touchdown run against the Seahawks in week 4, like I was talking about, possibly one of the games of the year, ended up 48-45. And it's somewhat similar to the concept I showed you a minute ago. The left guard's going to pull, and in this case, who's going to kick out the edge defender? And Jamaal Williams is down on the midline, meaning straight down the midline, and then just going to veer off at this angle behind the kick out, underneath of the kick out block, I should say, by the guard. The Lions have a versatile, diverse run game. There's the kick out block here, and you can see the wall that's being built by the play side tackle, play side guard, and the tight end who motioned down. There is a gap, and you'll get the end zone angle here in a moment. There is a gap between that tight end and the play side tackle, which I think is Sewell. But he combos up to the front side inside linebacker, gets just enough of a piece of him. I guess if you're a Lions fan, and there's plenty of them who were disappointed that they signed Montgomery and were going to let Jamaal Williams go, I understand being upset. I do. Personally, I wanted them to see them run it back with this team. I really did, and just draft better. I plan on doing more Lions content in 2023. I just wanted to see them run it back with this team and Jamaal Williams and the offense because I thought they were just incredibly dynamic, underrated, top 5 scoring offense, I think, in the NFL last year. Look, Montgomery, though, is going to turn 26 in a few months, while DeAndre Swift is just 24. And like I said, Jamaal Williams turns 28 in a couple of weeks. So the Lions chose to move on. Maybe it was age. Maybe it was, look, there's talk that he doesn't break that many tackles. You're going to see plenty of plays in this cut-up where he breaks tackles. This is a fullback motioning back into the backfield. If you recall, the two of the first couple plays I showed you, the fullback is going off the midline and then coming back to the side to ISO block the front side inside linebacker. The guard to the side where the fullback stepped is kicking out the edge defender, and they're running it opposite the initial flow. So when I say the initial flow, I'm talking about the two backs, the fullback and tailback going to the left, the top side of your screen, and then Williams would bring it back here. Well, this is different. This is lead zone. So both guys are going in that direction, and this time the fullback isn't stepping back, and you can see Williams' shoulders are turned. He's not taking a lateral step, so it's a slightly different step. He's trying to get downhill now, follow the fullback. Breaks at least one tackle breaks a tackle, I think, by a defensive tackle. Breaks another tackle by a safety, in this case, Jaquan Brisker, one of the most talented rookie safeties in the NFL last year. I understand that David Montgomery, on paper, statistically shows him breaking more tackles. I feel like Jamaal Williams is a guy who doesn't just go down on first contact. I really enjoy what Ben Johnson was able to create there last year. I have 8 games of theirs saved up. I did not like one comment that I heard him say at near the end of the season, where it was, we've had a bunch of 4 and 5 yard gains where if we break one tackle, it's an 8 and 9 yard gain. I thought that was a little bit of a shot across the bow at Jamaal Williams. Either way, the Lions moved on, and look, the depth and the versatility of their run game, it'll reward this decision. I mean, the Lions are going to be fine. All right, they're going to be fine. Ben Johnson's offense and the O-line they'll put Montgomery and Swift in position to succeed. I think they will meet or exceed the 1,600 yards that Williams and Swift put together last year. So here's that same play I'm talking about that I showed you, I think, twice early on. The left guard pulling, and he's going to kick out the edge defender, which I think is Jihad Ward. The fullback stepping off the midline to get out of the way, and then slicing back to that side to block the front side inside linebacker. You got to block the front side inside linebacker on any run play. On a run play to a particular side, you got to block the inside linebacker to that side. Jamaal Williams kind of lateral stepping and then going to bring this back against the initial flow. So you're getting the linebacker, Jalen Smith, stepping to the bottom side of our screen, right side of the defense, because the fullback and the tailback step to that side initially. Great concept when you team it with the lead zone concept that I showed you a couple of plays ago, because the initial flow is getting both guys working to this side, like that lead zone play I just showed you 2 plays ago, where I think he broke, Jamaal Williams broke a tackle by the D tackle and a tackle by Jaquan Brisker. I think the Lions will be fine without him. The challenge will be, look, there's just something about Jamaal Williams I really like. I don't know what it is. His style, his personality, the way he talks. I love the passion that he plays with, how I think he got the most out of himself this year at age 27, turning 28 here in the offseason. I guess, he could have broken more tackles at times. Another perspective, though, for me to say is that he's committed to the direction, the path they give him. Now, that doesn't mean that I think he's just like, hey, a guy that they tell him run here and he runs there and he doesn't read it. I think that's BS. I don't like that. I reject that narrative. There's film of him breaking tackles. There's film of him making cuts, making people miss. I love how he runs. Will the offensive line in New Orleans be as physical and prepared as the line was for the Lions? I don't know. Will the run game be as diverse and unpredictable? I don't know. I do know he'll get an opportunity for a lot of carries. So one other element that I want to talk about here is one-back stuff and how they utilize motion. So in this case, this H-back is going to go in motion, and he's going to kick out or slice down this edge defender, all right, 99. The run play, however, is not going to go to that side. It's going to go in the opposite direction. It's going to go away from the motion. Ben Johnson and the Lions run game would run with motion. They would run away from the motion, against the flow, away from the motion. Jamaal Williams and DeAndre Swift effective in both of those situations. I think there's a path to Jamaal Williams getting a lot of carries this year for the Saints. Another motion against the Vikings. In this case, the run play is coming to us with the motion. This is very similar to, I think, the first play that I showed you where there was a sixth offensive lineman going in motion. In this case, it's a tight end. And he's going to go and kick out the same edge defender that I was talking about a moment ago. And then simultaneous to that, post-snap, you're getting this wide receiver, which I think is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he's going to insert up and go block the front side inside linebacker. It's the same concept I showed you on the first play, except instead of using a sixth offensive lineman and H-back as the wrap lead block, they're using a tight end H-back as the kick out and then a wide receiver as the wrap lead block. I mean, it's just creativity within the system, being versatile enough and practicing the same concepts with different personnel groups. And it's presenting depth and diversity of the run game with simple concepts. And what I mean by that is it's the same concept. They're just practicing it with different guys. They probably have one personnel group, waiting to go, and the heavy personnel group practicing the play, and then they just switch groups. And so they're running the same concept at the defense out of multiple personnel groups, and I applaud them for it. Same play, end zone angle. You can see the kick out block here. That is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, he does trip, and it's a great play by Kendricks, by the way. I think he gets a piece of Jamaal Williams. Point is, this is an effective run concept. Still gets 6 yards, despite the penetration by Kendricks, who's since been, I think, released or cut by the Vikings. I love what the Lions do on offense. I love this. I don't think this run game's going to suffer. I am interested in the opportunities that Jamaal Williams is going to get in New Orleans. Look, he had 262 carries last year for the Lions in 1,066 yards, all right? We're now into some plays where he bounces it outside. Some of them are designed to go outside, like a stretch concept, or like a G concept where the pulling guard leads off tackle, and he's got like a two-way go based off of that guard and, the initial blocker or the initial defender that blocker takes on. This one, he just bounces it. Look, Alvin Kamara, in looking at his stats, his carries have actually gone up in the last 2 years, which is kind of crazy because I think he's 28 years old. I may be wrong on Alvin Kamara's age there. But here's the stats. From 2018 to 2020, you can see the bounce here by Williams. I mean, this is basically, a log block by the left guard pulling and now taking on the inside linebacker Kendricks. So great job by Kendricks of coming downhill, meeting it at the line of scrimmage, and then Jamaal Williams just going to bounce it outside. So it's not like he's a one-track guy and has to stay on that track and can't be effective. You see him bouncing it here for a touchdown. Look, but Alvin Kamara had an average of 182, 184 carries, something like that, from 2018 to 2020. The last 2 years, 2021, 240 carries. 2022, last year, 223 carries. So his usage is going up. I think that's why the Saints signed Jamaal Williams. He was brought in to reduce that number below 200 again, in my opinion. Maybe more of an even balance, but that's best case scenario for the Saints at this point. Who knows, at this point he's probably insurance for Alvin Kamara, depending on, what the situation is with the trial and, the assault that he's accused of or whatever he pled not guilty to. So I know nothing about that. I just know that it's a great signing for the Saints, if you ask me. Incredibly smart on multiple levels. Gives them a guy who can be the lead back if Kamara is out for a period of time. And then if Kamara is there, gives them two guys who can work off of each other, similar to Swift and Jamaal Williams last year, except the difference is Both of these guys are grade A level running backs, and DeAndre Swift's super talented too. Look, it's also a smart move by the Lions. They got younger. I know that some people don't like the salary that they spent on David Montgomery, $18 million, basically, I think for 3 years, so $6 million a year essentially, or maybe a little below that. I do plan on doing a more extended look at the Lions' run game from 2022. I think there's a lot more diversity than I'm presenting here. This is really a video about Jamaal Williams and how his career kind of took a step up. Here you see them motioning from right to left or bottom side to top side on the screen against the Seahawks with the tight end / H-back out of 12 personnel, and then the run play going against or away from that motion. Again, Ben Johnson provides multiple looks for the defense, makes them defend, run plays to each side. He's always got to me, he's series-based or sequence-based football. He's always got the main run concept, a play-action boot off of it, a naked concept off of it, in some cases some trick plays off of that same action. I think it's a brilliantly coordinated offense, and I don't think it's just Ben Johnson. I think it's the entire Lions staff. They manipulate the defense by alignment. The Saints are going to have to try to do the same thing to put Jamaal Williams, in position to succeed. I'm a huge fan, if you can't tell, of Jamaal Williams. Becoming a bigger fan of the Lions because of the film that I've watched and the way the offense played and the way that the defense was able to recover after a really poor start to the season. Another instance of a downhill run concept where Jamaal Williams ends up bouncing it back to the other side. He's got more speed and burst than people give him credit for. I think it's a smart signing by the Saints. They've put themselves in position to be able to handle no matter what happens with their with Alvin Kamara. This is back to the first play, by the way. There's a diverse run attack here. Again, you see the sixth offensive lineman with the kick out. There's the H-back with the wrap, and Jamaal Williams kind of hiding behind him, waiting to see where he's got to go based on that wrap lead play. Easy touchdown. Look, there's multiple plays built off of the base run concepts in the Lions run game. Like I said, I plan on doing a more extended look at the offense there. I've got 8 games, I think, labeled up, meaning cut up, down distance, personnel formation, play, run pass, play direction, etc. The one thing I think I've noticed, and I can't quantify this yet, is the Lions would save plays until they needed them. They wouldn't use up a concept that was working all the way up and down the field. It seemed to me like they would save it until they were inside the 20 or inside the 10 or inside the 7 so they could get a touchdown out of it instead of just getting 3 points. The Saints will be hard-pressed, in my opinion, to create this level of versatility. That's why I kept referring back to the diverse, and the depth of the running attack here with the Lions in 2022 under Ben Johnson. The Saints will be hard-pressed to create that. I just don't think there exists a run attack in the NFL as diverse as this one. And I know there was teams who had far more rushing yards, the Bears and the Ravens, being 2 of them, than the Lions. I think that Jamaal Williams will still be effective in New Orleans. And if he gets 220, 240-plus carries, it would not surprise me if he gets 1,000 yards again. 17 touchdowns, that's a lot to ask. He was their workhorse inside the 5, goal line, short yardage situations. This was a film study that I have been wanting to do for a couple of months because, again, I watched a lot of Lions film during the end of the portion of the second half of the regular season after they made their run, really after their first win over the Packers 15-9 at home, where I think they intercepted Aaron Rodgers 3 times, but maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it was only twice. Unique run game, unique offense, very well designed. I love everything they do. I'll be rooting for them again, but I still, there is a part of me that wishes that Jamaal Williams was going to be in Detroit next year because I think there was just something really good about that pairing, about that matchup there. You guys let me know what you think of the video and some of my comments here and when I did choose to break down some plays. And then if you think other people might enjoy this content about Jamaal Williams, the Saints signing him, and then the Lions run attack and how they diversified across multiple concepts, please consider sharing a link to this video on social media to help this video get more reach.